All right, here we are, game two between Wings and LGD. We're coming off a nice win for Wings in that short game between these two sides. As we get right on into the draft, I'm your caster, B-Cop, joined by PQMZ. Let's take a look at the bands. Let's take a look at the picks. Venomancer and Magnus banned out by Wings. LGD, they've banned out the Centaur as well as the MK. And MK getting banned out again. So first pick for Wings is going to be that Crystal Maiden. And let's see what LGD do to follow that up. And let's see if they have any more trouble with their draft. As it seemed as though at the end of their draft they didn't get the ban out. Maybe they had a bit of a flub in their draft. It caused them to have a puck going safe lane up in the top lane. And hopefully for them, that doesn't quite happen again. So their first pick is going to be Sand King. They'll head on into the second pick for Wings. It looks as though it's going to be Crystal Maiden in that 5 spot for LGD. They've got the Sand King. He could sit in a 4, but usually does sit in a 3 position going in the off lane, sometimes safe lane, depending on the draft. Lena. And actually, LGD, they're going to pick up Lena next. So could be a mid Lena. Who knows? We'll see what happens as they've now picked up the Sand King as well as the Lena for LGD.
Yeah, two really, really strong heroes, I think, and they have a lot of synergy throughout all stages of the game. I really like the new Lena talents. I think the hero is going to come back onto the scene in most roles, just because it's such a high damage output hero, and with how mid lanes have been going recently, it's a hero that dumps just most of the stuff that people like to put mid now, like snipers, shadow fiends, etc.
Yeah, I haven't really.
Maybe plays it.
Yeah, well, that would it be maybe mid with it, or could we even see him safe lane? We just saw him safe lane, so maybe they switch it up a bit.
I just want to see maybe play the hero. I'd like to be educated on some Lena.
I would like to be educated on every hero. So
I'm just a bit of a maybe fanboy. I mean, all of these players are absolutely amazing, but
yeah,
there's just certain things that I can appreciate for how they're playing, having played, but I just can't do what he can do. You know, his mechanics are amazing. Most of them are as well, but I don't know, maybe it's a bit of fanboyism. But the Nyx here is actually a really annoying hero for both of SK and Lena to deal with. It's very destructive at all stations of the game, and it probably leads LGD not wanting to do a core Lena, because Nyx will just feed on that hero. So I'll be pretty sad. I can't blame them.
Yeah, Wings, they've banned out the Life Stealer, they banned out the Juggernaut, and LGD Earth Spirit, as well as the Legion Commander. So Crystal Maiden, Nyx probably going to be in the off lane. Crystal Maiden 5, as you said, maybe it pops Lena out of the mid lane. So would that be a Lena 4, or
I think you can run it as both. Like, if you can run Rasta as a 5, you can definitely run Lena as a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Though I do think most of that was down to the fact that they were fighting and they were utilizing the hero, so his item pool didn't really matter that much. They weren't splitting the map or anything.
And, LGD, they follow that up with a Tusk. I kind of like that. You get the nice Ice Shards, and then you get the Light Strike Array coming in from Lena as well, setting up a Burrow Strike. So a pretty solid combination for LGD early in this draft, but could be a Tusk Lena support combo coming in for LGD.
Most likely. I really like the Tusk with any kind of melee offlaner. I think Sand King just does it the best, but there's definitely other options. They're just two very strong heroes that put a lot of pressure, and CM is not a hero that deals well with pressure. She likes one hero in the lane that she can either be zoning or left to her carry to deal one-on-one with.
So, with these 3 picks from LGD, do you see it still being a support Lena with that Tusk for sure?
Earth Shaker.
Probably, yeah, but the thing with drafts is identifying who's going where early is nearly impossible. because lane switch ups and honestly, unless you're literally listening to the teams, you're not going to know what they're thinking, and their experiences are going to be different to someone else's.
Yeah.
So it's just a guessing game at this point. But what I like is so far both drafts have a lot of flex in how they can play and how they can move their heroes around the map, which is probably the more important thing to look at.
And I kind of like this Earthshaker Crystal Maiden support duo. They can come over mid and really make a nuisance for whoever is mid for LGD. A nicely placed Fissure into a Frostbite. And if, you go back to someone like a Puck or a Silencer, you could see a lot of kills mid for Wings with this combination. And even with LGD's combination, they come in with a Snowball, they get the Light Strike Array. Both these teams have a lot of potential for some early kills.
Yeah, I definitely think LGD will be looking for a lot of action early. Wings, it's to be seen yet. I think their cores will dictate a lot. But this is a hero that's slowly been coming back on the scene, and I think it plays so well into this kind of meta game. And unfortunately, there's no Magnus for the easiest win, but the rest of the lineup has a lot of control, which Troll thrives off. He just needs a tiny bit of help, and then he snowballs pretty well in fights.
I think with that Troll coming out, we might be seeing a core Lina. I don't know. It helps Lina so much, the Troll, and really makes Lina a killing machine. I think I've seen that in 1 or 2 games in DPL.
You can say that with a lot of heroes, so like
Yeah.
Sniper, Shadow Fiend, like any hero that right clicks is helped by Troll. But I think Lina as a core this game is just too risky. Like, Earthshaker already puts a lot of your advantages mid out the window because you just can't play aggressively anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is a lone druid mid, which is somewhat feasible, then Lina just, struggles.
Well, I'm just trying to get that maybe Lina dream out there for you. That's what I'm hoping for.
Unfortunately, I have to employ logic, and I do not think it is logical. You can dream, but my dream's already dead.
I'll be the dreamer for you. I'll take over the dream. Lina, maybe mid. Let's do it. Nothing else.
And they could run like a safe lane Lina and a mid Troll. Troll does really well against Lone Druid because of the whole PMS interaction, and his animations are pretty good. And if you ever get caught, you've got the chances of the bear missing with the axes.
So some interesting bans from both sides. LGD, they ban out the Tinker. Maybe they're not thinking the Lone Druid mid. And then Meepo banned out by Wings. So Wings, if that ban is right, for Tinker, is Wings still looking for a mid?
There's your answer. Lone Druid does both pretty well, but this is a hero that sets the tempo of the game a lot differently. But it's a very volatile pick this game because LGD do have plenty of ways to A, pressure the hero in lane, and B, burst the hero in team fights. So they're going to be relying on like the Shaker and the Nyx to create a lot of distance to keep the hero off. But I really like the Meepo ban because Troll Meepo is
deadly combination.
It's just filthy. It's cheesy. And I think we get Lina mid. Woohoo! I think the DP pick changes it a bit because as a support you don't get the levels as much, and Lina just destroys this hero in team fights. And the Warlock is a really good way of enabling the Troll yet again. And I like LGD's lineup a lot here.
Yeah, I think it works well. And up against the Death Prophet, like you said, they can nuke her down really quick. I feel like the Death Prophet's going to be completely irrelevant this game if, all is played right.
Yeah, I'd love to be proven wrong, though. I'm a huge DP fan, and don't take that out of context. Quick chat.
Somebody get that cut, please. Get that sound clip.
But the hero just hasn't proven useful lately. It's way too fight heavy of a meta. The Exorcism's a great team fight spell, but the problem is keeping yourself alive. And when the hero was really popular in the meta, you had heroes that generally defended it a lot better. So you rely on the slightly less sporadic fighting. Whereas now they picked these two heroes that like to fight a lot, but LGD also can do the same thing. And they just have so much burst damage on their team through the epicenter and just Lina as a hero.
Yeah,
It also has some very nice cosmetics.
So let's go around the horn really quick. Wings, we've got Y on the Crystal Maiden, Shadow on the Lone Druid. Nyx is going to be played by Faith Beyond, who had a really nice game in Game 1. Blink mid with the Death Prophet. And then finally Ice on the Earthshaker. For the other side, LGD is going to be paired up with Yao on the Warlock, Ame on the Troll Warlord, Tusk played by M99, Ode 11 on the Sand King, and then finally the Dream maybe on the Lina. So, you know, it should be an interesting matchup for these two teams. Game 1 very much Wings after the 10-12 minute mark. And, you know, let's see if Wings can have a repeat performance or if LGD, they're going to split this series one apiece.
I think it could definitely go either way, though. Like, I did like LGD's draft slightly more, but the main problem I see for LGD is their lanes are very volatile. They could easily go either way. I prefer Lina in the matchup against DP, but with Earthshaker being such a strong hero, if he just smokes himself, sits around here, and whenever Lina goes to play aggressive, DP can punish that, and one block equals pretty much a dead Lina.
I think the same could be said, though, for LGD, especially if they get that Light Strike Array out on maybe. You get the Tuscan with the Snowball, Ice Shards, and then the Light Strike Array. They could finish off a Death Prophet quite easily. And as I say that, up top, there's the Fissure as well as the Frostbite. M99 getting very low. Ice just hitting away at this Tusk. He's trying to run back all the way to the Shrine. Should be able to do so. Fissure's... Yeah, he's gonna run away. There's another Fissure. One more shot will get them the kill as he as he survives with less than 25 health.
I think the Tower Armor aura saved him there. That was like 5 or 6 health on the hit that saved him. That was so clutch.
And he gets away without even using that Shrine.
Because like Sand King's gonna want that one Frostbite from Lina and from the CM, and his life is very awkward because you can't borrow away from that. His only option is to TP out, which is gonna be taken away from him as soon as Lone Druid gets his levels or Earthshaker is in the area.
Yeah, it's a very tough lane for Old 11, and you know that. Let's see if that whole Shrine still being up ends up being clutch for LGD, and a lane that I haven't really looked at actually.
That's nearly a huge deal, like 300 gold.
Actually, I was going to look down low, but it looked as though something was going to happen up top. I was going to talk about down in the bottom lane as it's Faith Beyond up against Ame. Faith Beyond, does he really have any chance up against Ame in this lane?
I'd say he should be contesting CS comfortably, but obviously it's the Warlock's job to make that not the case.
Yeah, the Warlock's going to come up these stairs, spot Faith Beyond. Doesn't actually have the Shadow Word, which we've seen a couple of times where a Warlock will take that first. But meanwhile, up top, off camera, well, M99, he's going to be taken out by Shadow, and First Blood goes the way of Wings. I get caught talking about bottom lane a bit too much. So that's pretty good for Wings up top. Again, you know, that we were just talking about how that Sand King was going to be in a whole bunch of trouble. Meanwhile, down low, a two-man stun's going to come out from Faith Beyond. It doesn't look as though it's going to be enough with the Shadow Word. M99 actually gets a kill of his own, so he's now 1-1. And both safe lanes, they get themselves a kill.
Yeah, nice immediate response from him getting the return kill with the TP reaction after he dies. And I expect this game to only pick up more with the rotations. It's very easy for both support duos to make things happen this game. I'd say it's slightly harder to kill the DP mid until the Lina hits 6, but after that it's free game for both sides.
They're looking to possibly go in on old 11. He does have one level in that Burrow Strike. Not a lot of distance in it, but if he got caught in a bad spot, he should be able to just get himself out. And now it looks as though M99 is going to be setting up for this gank over mid. He places a sentry ward, makes sure he's not under ward vision, and he's looking for that snowball. Doesn't actually have ice shards, though.
No, they're going to want to wait for that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big piece in trying to get this kill in the mid lane up against this Death Prophet.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way you get the kill, even with it, if the Nina's not 6, so... If you just double drain, and then he also has a wand, so... Or at least a stick, sorry. I'm not too sure how,
Shadow getting really low. Wow. Under that tower very long, and if old 11 thinks about getting close, he could find an easy Burrow Strike, but he's really scared about getting him by that fissure, and then followed up by Shadow and the bear. That was very interesting from Shadow. He got down to 21 health under tower like that.
Probably just missed the aggro toggle a few times. Happens.
Yeah, so 5 minutes into this game, only 2 kills between the two teams, and maybe not the aggression that I was thinking was going to come out of this game. Of course, you know, Tusk, just looking back at M99 now, he's finally found himself Ice Shard, so maybe they go in on Blink mid, but maybe still not level 6. And he's going to be looking for that Laguna Blade to finish off Blink before he gets the ability to get his life back with the Spirit Siphon. So let's take a look.
Here's the smoke. This is where they look to get something done.
Yeah, it's both maybe NM99. Again, they finally have the Ice Shards. Almost level 3, so he's going to snowball, get the Ice Shards in, look for the Light Strike Array. It really needs to be M99 trying to get the direction. There it is with the snowball. They get the Light Strike Array. Ice, he is looking for a nice fissure, but the Ice Shards come in first to box him in, and maybe ends up getting the kill onto this Earthshaker. So now 2-1 in favor of LGD.
It's a bit of a weird rotation, but they do get a double stack out of it, so it definitely pays for itself. Another Lina has Laguna ready after the mana gets popped, and they can look for some stuff in the mid lane. But this is where Wings read the map pretty well, and they can make some pretty good counterplay here, because there's Exorcism available.
There's the snowball in onto Blink, trying to get the Exorcism off. Finally does. There's the Frostbite, but a big Burrow Strike out onto the Laguna Blade finishes off the Death Prophet. They'll move in to kill off Y, excuse me, and get a second kill on the Crystal Maiden. And it's a 2-for-0 trade in favor of LGD. So you said they were going to try and get the Exorcism off. It's really not quick enough, not going to save the life of that Death Prophet, as the Burrow Strike was on point from the Sand King. And they follow that up with a nice Laguna Blade to kill off the DP before anything can really come of it.
Yeah, I mean, Wings didn't play that badly at all. They played it about as well as they could, unless you want to argue them not being there in the first place. And it just shows the problem of this hero. You pop the ult and it doesn't matter. He got a drain on a hero, and again, it doesn't matter. He's just not tanky enough at this stage of the game, and he gets punished for it.
Nice bit of Spike Carapace work, as well as the fissure just backing off LGD. The salvo come out from Ame, healing back to full health, and LGD, they're okay with this right now. Up 4-1. We see a look at the net worth. It's Lina and the Troll Warlord who lead by quite a bit over this Lone Druid to start, and it looks as though maybe is this Shadow just going complete bear build? Is that just the thing now? Or are they going to go back to just building on Lone Druid himself?
I'm not very sure, but the ranged form definitely took enough nerfs to warrant the hero going back and forth now. I think it depends much more game to game. I don't personally like playing the Radiance Bear against a Troll, because Troll just kills the Bear very quickly. But their idea of their draft is definitely leaning towards him going for the Bear build more.
So M99 gonna get a kill out on Ice. There's the Laguna Blade. Can they get one more? They throw the shards out. Will finish off Shadow. And like that, 6-1 for LGD. That's a big kill on Lone Druid. And that's now 4,200 net worth for maybe a full 1,000 gold in front of this Lone Druid early on. And
yeah, meanwhile, Wings try and make the same play bottom, but they aren't successful. They even get countered.
And they get the Exorcism out. The Spike Harper's going to slow down LGD on the retreat, but you know, now the Exorcism's out. They've found nothing towards LGD. It's a waste of an ult. And you chalk it up to a win. You chalk it up to a win for LGD.
Yeah, I think it's only going to get worse for them as well, because Warlock's just ticked over to level 6. Really good timing on his part. And while he doesn't quite have the mana yet, he'll probably look to get that soon. And then they can ramp up the pace of the game.
And there's the Chaotic Offering already with the shards as well as the Snowball. They get the kill. Old 11's going to get credit for that one. TPing in his Shadow, maybe not the best play. And there's the Burrow Strike coming out from Old 11. They're looking to get more. And now he's getting very low. Ice Shards come through, and they'll get the kill on Shadow. Meanwhile, off screen, maybe he's going to find another on Ice. Now 9-1 in favor of LGD. So 3 kills going their way. Just like that. That's a piss poor TP in from Shadow, and then up top. It's a little bit of a family feud as maybe gets the kill on Y on that Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, I think it did give away the fact they had a ward there, but LGD are very, very comfortable with how this game's going. And I really would love to understand Chinese and be in a TeamSpeak to hear their reasoning behind this DP pick. It's not entirely DP's fault this game's not going well, but their entire draft just kind of hinged on so much going well, and LGD have this kind of super ease of execution. It just feels so easy for them.
And it definitely seemed like maybe there was an opportunity for Wings really early on to look for the Crystal Maiden and Earthshaker going towards mid, get a good fissure with a nice, you know, Frostbite, and the Death Prophet can do work onto the Lina, but it didn't seem like they even went that route once. Excuse me.
I think that's mostly down to wanting to zone the Sand King out and keep the Lone Druid as safe as possible, but it's very easy to say, well, that play didn't work, so they should have done this one, when it's very feasible both plays could have resulted in the same problem if they don't execute it correctly. So I think they just put a lot on their plate and they haven't been able to deal with it. But Wings are notorious for having mediocre to bad lanes on the best of games. So they're a team I would expect to be able to bring this back, at least in some kind of fashion. Because their team fights are normally amazing.
And what does that take for really Wings to come back? Because they're 12 minutes into this game, 6,000 net worth down. So what is the blueprint for them to bring it back? It's not a huge hole, but you know, it's something they got to climb out of.
I think first thing is just getting a round of items. Like DP getting this hood suddenly solves half the problem. That she can actually live long enough to get a few drains in a fight. Or outnumber them, like they're trying to do here. But I think the problem is LGD are very well aware of this, and I think they have more TPs. Yeah, like the Tusk has a TP, the Troll has a TP. And they just got dewarded, so I think Wings is very clearly queued to get the hell out and continue farming. Because right now, LGD aren't putting too much pressure on them to stop farming. And they can probably get 1,000, maybe 2,000 more on their heroes. And unfortunately, Lone Druid's pretty limited. Like, he needs a Radiance. But I think DP with a hood could make enough space if they maybe push a tower or two. And then Lone Druid gets his Radiance in, I don't know, let's be nice and say about 8 minutes. So we'll have it around the 20-minute mark.
And Wings, right as you said they were going to be complacent, sit back and farm, and actually walking into their hands is Ame. There's the Spirit Siphon with the Fissure. They do use the Echo Slam. They get a kill. Here comes the Epicenter through from Old 11. It should get a return kill on the Nyx, but Faith Beyond, he survives for a little bit longer. There's the Silence. Old 11, he's got to try and run away, but the Spirit Siphon just doing work, and they do have a rock that's going to drop on 3, and it is not really that much of trouble. It's just Yao. You know, it's a great rock drop on 3, but nobody else is there, so they're going to end up losing the Warlock. And he's dropped the rock, so it's kind of like...
Heroes is irrelevant at that point, right?
Yeah, that's all he's really there for.
Like, they made a really good read on the map, and it paid off huge for them.
This'll come in handy.
Normally, I don't think you'd expect them to be able to be that ballsy. But for whatever reason, they knew it would work. You know, that's gonna put them a lot further towards that timing. Maybe bring it up by a minute or two. And that makes all the difference in games like this. It also might give LGD a second thought.
Oh boy, Burrow Strike comes through, as well as the Light Strike Array and the Laguna Blade to finish off Shadow. Call it right on out as Old 11. He's got that blink Burrow Strike is enough range to close in on this lone Druid, and now Crystal Maiden caught out. Burrow Strike, Ice Shards, Light Strike Array, even the Walrus Punch into the sky. Maybe gets a second. That's, you know, after a good play that Wings just had, it just seems like they're right on back with a bad play. They give 2 kills right on back to LGD, and they're going to give up this tower here too up top.
Yeah, and half of that's down to Shadow skilling the way he did. Savage Roar probably stops him dying there, or at least prolongs the fight long enough. And it might look a bit different, but that is kind of all the momentum they gained off those sequences of events dumped straight away. Now they're back in the same old position where they're down a tower, their wood is pretty well warded, so it's very hard to break into it, so they're pretty much going to have to abandon their woods and make this side of the map their home. And see what they can do there. Because again, they're still nearing their items. Blink on the Nyx, pretty important. DP getting any kind of defensive / mobility items. A godsend for them, but it's just how much time do they actually have?
And it really doesn't seem like they have much time, especially when they give up, you know, a Shadow Death and then a Crystal Maiden right after that.
Yeah, and then Roshan.
Yeah, and then another tower.
Tower control, so it's not like they can split the map and just say, okay, well, we'll trade because we've got DP Lone Drover. I think LGD, maybe they don't win that trade, but they do well enough that it makes Wings' life a lot harder to make that decision.
Just seems like a completely 180 turnaround of last game where Wings had the huge advantage. Now there's the Blink Burrow Strike under the Sentry Ward. They will get a kill with the Walrus Punch, and now they're trying to turn it around for Wings. Old 11, he's caught out. There's the Echo Slam, and they're kind of caught off by this Fissure, but there it is, a Chaotic Offering coming out on 2. They get the Burrow Strike out on Ice. He's trying to run away. He's in a bit of trouble. The Light Strike Array does miss, and now they're trying to chase a big Fissure out on 3, but that's really just prolonging his life as he will fall to the Ice Shards of M99, who's now on a mega kill streak, and LGD up 14-3. So they look for more. There it is. Blink Burrow Strike out onto Blink. He's getting pushed back even more. He's going to use that Exorcism as well as the Spirit Siphon. The big stun comes out from Faith Beyond, and they'll find a kill out onto the Sand King. The Laguna Blade, as well as that Golem, will finish off Faith Beyond. He's dead, and now it looks as though this Death Prophet might be in a little bit of trouble. Shadow trying to do what he can. Rooted up is going to be maybe on this Lina, but they're still trying to make something happen on Wings, and they seem to lack the damage to do something.
Yeah, that could have gone a lot worse for them as well. Like when they lost their Sand King, but they did set up for the shrines all being down for 6 minutes now. Oh, sorry, not quite 6, but like 5 minutes. So if they want to make that play again, where they push with the Aegis once the Sand King respawns and they heal up, there's actually no shrines immediately by their axe, which makes a big deal on the pushes.
It'll make that push a bit easier for LGD and a really hard high ground defense for Wings.
The other side of the coin is they use the Aegis to farm, get their next round of items, and they don't worry about shutting out Wings entirely yet. Because Chinese teams, I find, are a little more hesitant to make a game-winning play if they see risk to it.
Yeah, but meanwhile, you talk about that, Blink, he's got the Spirit Siphon out on Ame, but it's just not doing anything for him. Ame chases down Blink. They get the kill on the Death Prophet, dead for 45 seconds with no buyback. And with 2 minutes left on that Aegis until it gets reclaimed, I think LGD, with no Death Prophet on Wings, this is the moment to make a move.
They also have a DD on Lena, so you couldn't ask for a better situation if they wanted to use it. But by the time they get to the tower, there's like 10-15 seconds left on DP, and then they still don't have rock. Do they really want to fight that? Probably not, because there's an element of risk to it. But they are smoking up now and looking to catch when Wings come out, which is a very common play. You know, just like go to the lanes after you respawn, and LGD get red pretty hard. His Wings all back off to their base.
Yeah, it's a good.
But it's not a bad smoke because it still forces them into their base.
Yeah, and now LGD. Maybe they just push forward. They've got the rock. Wings kind of read that pretty well. We take a look over at Shadow. We take a look at this bear. He's only got the Sacred Relic. Still no Radiance 20 minutes in, and now looking over at bottom is LGD. And they're looking to take this tier 2, finish off the last outer tower. And if Wings, they get a little too complacent up forward, they might be caught out by a Blink Burrow Strike from this Sand King. So they got to back off. They got to look to hold their high ground, but they have to give up this tower. LGD, it seems like a lot of pressure is put on Wings to really make something happen.
Yeah, that's how you want to play your lead. You want to put enough pressure, but not overextend it. I mean, yes, they could be doing a tiny bit more, maybe, but then it like stretches them really thin, and it gives Wings more room to make a comeback. Whereas now, like
FB Center charged up. They get the Burrow Strike as well as the Light Strike Array. The Laguna Blade follows it up. They get a kill on Death Prophet once again. 45 seconds, no buyback, and they're already up on this tower. The creep wave coming, and they're looking for a tier 3 as well as a Rax, and they finally get the Radiance. They ping out this top tower. I don't even know why you even retreat for a tier 1 unless you're just looking to split push. They get the deny, yeah, so that's nice.
Waiting for Troll's BKB. Like Lena and Troll both just got BKBs, so yes, there's a window for them, but they've got 4k gold in their stash not being used, so they want to make sure they've got everything before they push.
Okay. So they're just trying to make sure everything's safe. They get the BKBs and work it as, you know, safely as they can. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. No reason to take a risk for them. They're so far ahead. They're not on any kind of clock either. Their late game is more than good enough, especially when you farm 80% of the map as opposed to 50. It's just finding the windows now, and because they don't have Roshan, they're probably gonna farm 4 or 5 minutes, depending how long it takes for it to be off. And it's really hard for Wings to stop that, because even though they have 1 or 2 good heroes at catching people out, being the Nyx and the Shaker, they just don't quite have the damage if one of their other cores isn't there. And, like, Lena's extremely tanky right now. That's not something you normally say. Like, she has so many defensive items, and it doesn't really matter because she still does a shit ton of damage. And she splits the map really well, so Wings going for these kind of smokes, they probably just saw the Lena TP bottom, so it's about as good a chance as any if they were going to get an engagement. But they're actually pretty close now.
Yeah, and they're going to look down low. They're all smoked up on Wings. Faith Beyond, he's got that Vendetta out. They're looking for Maybe, who's gone down the stairs and is just so speedy.
That's sad. But they did see him smoke, so if you can fight under a shrine, you can't really ask for better circumstances. Problem is, LGD, I don't think quite know where they are.
And they go the other
They're
way.
just going to smoke and get to the racks, and this is a position Wings don't want to be in.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the
When
map.
they aren't set up, and if they get any kind of jump with this vision, then LGD can stand the game.
So they've got this ward up top.
Oh, they
looking...
know. They saw the stun from Lena.
Yeah,
They know the smoke.
They know the ward's there. They know the smoke play is there. Old 11 was looking for it as Faith Beyond playing a bit risky to get that ward out of play. And LGD, they take this time to just back up. They're looking, I think they're going to sit until the next Roche, it looks like, with that kind of backup after possibly having a nice potential move coming out top. But they'll sit back once again. Roche up in 3 minutes. Like you said, they have a pretty solid late game. I bet they don't mind farming it up until then.
It's just so like nice to see that kind of play though. Like, unless the team gets caught by that smoke most of the time. Like, watching these teams play is just so much better.
Ooh, actually up top, Death Prophet again Blink in a bit of trouble. The stun comes through, but the BKB is popped from Ame. They'll get another kill on Blink, who this time around does have buyback blinking forward. His old 11 going to be backed off by the rest of Wings. So it's, you know, another kill on Death Prophet. Blink not having the best of games 1 and 4. And that's, you know, you said that Death Prophet pick might be a problem, and it's definitely serving to be a problem for Wings.
Yeah, he keeps trying to push out lanes, and they need to do something this game, but he's been caught out several times because he's taking the riskiest farm on the map while the lone druid's taking the safer side. And now he's got the Radiant spare, it's a lot easier for him to farm. But unfortunately, Blink doesn't have any luxury of like either being able to get away or farm halfway across the map with his spells. It's not how the hero works, unfortunately.
And they get a big smoke coming out from Wings once again. They make that right turn looking for someone on LGD. If they head up the stairs, they could find something. No troll with them, like you just said. Spike Carapace pop. There's the Blink. Stun comes out on Warlock. BKB is pop. There's the Light Strike Array as well as the Echo Slam coming through. Nyx is going to fall. No Chaotic Offering as Warlock's dead. But they've taken out the Nyx. They've taken out the Earthshaker. And they are looking for more. Rooted up is going to be this Lena, but just does not care. They've taken out another in the Crystal Maiden. And here comes the Troll Warlord Ame with the BKB, but immediately backs off. They're actually going to lose Old 11, so 3 die on LGD. Now they're chasing down Ame, who doesn't have that BKB anymore. This might be another kill for Wings. Ooh, big stun comes out from Faith Beyond. They get the mana burned, and yeah, they're going to get Ame a pretty solid fight from Wings. Seem to be all over the place from LGD. At first, I thought they had that fight in the bag, but a pretty nice Echo Slam comes through from Wings. And they clean it all up, get themselves 4.
Yeah, with the Troll not being there from the start, and then the Warlock getting picked off, which is their biggest teamfight hero, Wings just did everything they needed to like win that fight. It was mostly the positioning that caught LGD off, and then a bit of chaos in a fight always helps the team that's playing from behind. Now it's just a matter of them finding a similar fight around an objective. Because that fight doesn't equate to anything if LGD just take Roche and then they go push. And Wings can't do it again. I don't think they actually got any items off of that fight. I think the Lone Druid got a Hyperstone and that's about it.
And it looks as though LGD, they're going to be looking for Roche. Take a look over at the Death Prophet. Still just Yule's Hood, trying to finish off the Shivas. Didn't finish it off with that fight. And LGD, they take a quick Roche. And with that Aegis, they'll be looking again to fight and looking again to make something happen.
Pretty good initiation as well.
Gonna get the Epicenter coming through. The Earthshaker's gonna be in a bit of trouble. He's dead, and there's the snowball onto the Nyx. Ice falls. Faith Beyond next in line. 2 kills go the way of LGD. Maybe an Old 11 find a kill apiece.
No buyback on either hero as well, so taking out the 2 initiators. Earthshaker's probably going to be up by the time they hit the base of the next wave, but they've got at least 15 second window or so where they can play without the Knicks. And I think they're going to feel plenty confident with BKB still up on stall.
They're just ripping through this tower and maybe just getting stronger and stronger. This bear really doesn't stand a chance. He does fear them, and they are silenced up, and here comes the snowball. They come through with it. They get the stun. Frostbite out on Tusk. M99 a bit too deep. So he falls. And they kind of got cut off by the nice fissure.
Yeah, killing the bear's nice, but they played that really well to bait them in far enough. And again, with the shrines being up, if they ever commit, they can kiss their Aegis advantage goodbye, because 1 extra life does not beat 3 shrines if used properly. You can only burst like 1 hero with the Lina, so...
Yeah, and who do you think should be that target to focus for the Lina?
Shaker or Nyx, if they can find them. They're the 2 most destructive heroes to the fight. But they're also going to be the most defensively positioned most of the time.
And Nyx, no Ags just yet. I have to expect that item comes out eventually if Wings can pull this game long enough.
I mean, his entire net worth is just about enough to buy Nags, and that's in 30 minutes of gameplay, so good fucking luck finding double your net worth in a game that you're losing.
Come on, you could do it, Faith.
If they get a huge fight, then maybe. Because while they held, they didn't do anything to LGD, they just stopped them for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
They've got an Aegis now, Sand King just finished his Ags, so he's even more annoying. And they're still good to go. They could opt to wait 100 gold for Warlock to pick up his mech, but I don't think they care that much.
No, not really. It doesn't look as though LGD really care that much. They're going to let him farm it because why not? They have that kind of space and time. There's no reason not to.
Just depends how comfortable they're feeling in forcing the game.
I think Wings is a bit far out, and there's the spot. Ami's going to come through the epicenter as well as the burrow strike. They get the kill, and again, Blink just wrong place, wrong time. Meanwhile, down low, Ice is going to fall to this Lina. When we take a look back over mid, they're going to look for this tier 2. They've lost the Earthshaker. They've lost the Death Prophet. And LGD, they're looking just very good in this game. The buybacks there from Blink. Is that enough?
There must have been some miscommunication there, because they had the cancel on Lina's TP and then they still got caught while they were defending their base. And I was busy watching bombs, so I didn't see how they got caught, but if they could have stopped the Lina coming, then they delayed the game even more. They nearly kill her as well, but unfortunately she's just a bit too high level and they end up losing instead of... So it's still favourable for LGD, which is a really bad thing for Wings.
Yeah,
it's only going to get worse.
They're up against the Lina with 25 Bloodstone charges, something you definitely don't see every day. Meanwhile, over mid, they're going to lose Blink again. Wow, that is...
that far out.
Yeah. There's just no reason for it, and Wings have to immediately retreat. It looks as though they're going to lose this bear. Down it goes. 300 gold for maybe now 26 Bloodstone charges. It's just... I just don't understand completely why Blink would be out like that. And the bear's up. The bear... He was there. The bear's dead. Again, BKBs are popped by LGD. They go for this tier 3. They wipe it out quickly. They go for the racks. It doesn't look as though there's really anything that Wings can do. They haven't gotten off one good exorcism this entire game. And they're going to lose their mid set of racks from it without Blink.
I think half the reason he was out there is he feels like he needs to push the wave. He thought they went away. He kind of misread the map. But no matter how you spin it, when you're behind, you have to make plays that potentially lose you the game all the time. And that's just one of them. It's extremely easy for people to say.
Big bro strike out on 2. There's the chaotic offering, but the nice Echo Slam from Ice, but there's just nothing there to follow it up. They've already got 2 heroes dead. Shadow's on the retreat. There's the Burrow Strike Shrine. It's only going to keep you alive for so long, and with that, that's GG and LGD. A complete 180 from last game, and they win this game 29-9. Thought they might get a kill on Nyx. So 29-9 LGD, they split the series 1 apiece. It wasn't the most exciting games, but it does show that, you know, both these teams really have the potential to, you know, stomp these higher tier Chinese region teams. They both have the ability to just do well in those high tier matchups.
Yeah, I think it just shows how even the teams are, because these two games were completely dictated by draft.
Yeah.
Both teams, when they were on the front foot, played about as well as they could, and the team that was falling behind tried to make some plays. Obviously, when you're behind, it's kind of like Russian roulette. You just keep clicking the barrel until eventually you make one misstep and the game gets decided because of it. It's very easy from a standpoint of a spectator to criticize the play, but if he doesn't make that play and they just push the base, they probably lose anyway.
Yeah.
So,
It's an all or nothing play. So, LGD, they're going to take game 2, split the series 1-1. I'm your caster, BCop, at BCop92 on Twitter. Joined here by PQMZ. His Twitter is at PQMZDota_. Look him up on Twitter. Follow us both. Know when we're casting, and we'll be back with a new series, the last series of the night, coming up next. So stay right there.